Can I come and sit with you, Fergie?
That's my baby boy.
Ooh, big stretches. Hi everyone. This is my new forever cat, Ferguson. Ferguson is 12 weeks old now, and I wanted to make a video to tell you all about him. Unfortunately, Ferguson has a congenital kidney condition and it is terminal. So he is not expected to live a very long life, and because of that, we decided that if he's not going to live a long life, that we would like him to live a very happy life with us. So we are just determined to give him a very full life with whatever time that we do have with him. This video might sound like it's really sad, and in many ways it is. It's a very sad situation. I've cried a lot of tears over this. But it's also like a really happy thing because this is my new best friend, and I love him so much, and I'm so grateful for the time that we do have together. This kitten almost died on so many occasions that Andrew always says every single day that we have with him is bonus life. And so he's living his bonus life with us, and we're gonna make it a good one. I love you so much. I do, I love you so much. Also, I kind of think that Ferguson and I look alike. Maybe that sounds crazy, but we have the same hair color. We have the same eye color. We kind of have similar face shapes. I mean, he sort of looks like he could be my son. My Fergie son. Oh, thank you for the kisses. So where do I begin? Well, let's begin at the beginning.
Hi, little buff baby. Little buff boy. Oh my gosh. We don't get a lot of buff kittens. You are so special.
Yeah. You are good on a bottle. Ferguson had kind of a sad beginning. He came from a litter of 5 who actually did have a mom, but they had to be separated from the mom because the mom had actually killed one of the babies. That sounds horrible, and of course it is, but that is something that sometimes happens when moms are aware that there's medical problems with the kittens. So she had killed one of the kittens. The others were definitely in danger of the same fate, and so they were separated when they were brought into the animal shelter. 3 of the 4 kittens were extremely, extremely sick. They were urinating blood, they were in bad condition, and one of the kittens had to be euthanized. So that left 3 kittens, and those 3 kittens came here to live in my baby nursery. I decided to name them Elvis, Clarissa, and Ferguson. Elvis had always been in good health, but Clarissa and Ferguson had been put on antibiotics at the animal shelter, and those antibiotics seemed to really be helping them. They were eating, they were gaining weight, they looked pretty good. And so for the first several days they were here, I thought, you know, I was told these kittens were sick, but they seem like they're okay. So they completed their course of antibiotics, and about 2 days later, things got really bad. Both Clarissa and Ferguson stopped eating. They started looking really lethargic and uncomfortable. Both of them were exhibiting stress behaviors, and it was just clear that they were not in good condition. So we decided to put them back on the antibiotics. Now the good thing was that Ferguson seemed to respond really well to being back on the antibiotics. He started to perk back up, he started to accept the bottle again, but unfortunately his sister never did. She just got worse and worse and worse until unfortunately she had to be euthanized. And I mean, it was just devastating. It was so sad. She was really, really young, and this was a very confusing situation. So in situations like this, where we're not really sure what the cause of death was, we will opt to do a necropsy. A necropsy is not always necessary, but in cases like this, especially where there is a surviving littermate with a similar issue, it can be really helpful because it might tell us something that can save the other one. So we did that necropsy, and then it takes a while for the results to come in. So during that time, we completed another course of antibiotics, and then we took him off the antibiotics, and again, like that, 2 days later, he got so sick. So I just started dreading taking him off antibiotics because every time that we would take him off of them, he would almost die. I mean, he would get so sick, so lethargic, he would not eat. And this time I started observing some other concerning behaviors, like he would just sit at the water fountain and drink and drink and drink. He would do kind of this like water fountain tour where he would go drink for like an entire minute from one fountain and then walk across the house and drink from another fountain. And I was concerned because, you know, kittens, it's not normal for them to drink that much water. So I started thinking, I wonder if he has something going on with his bladder or his kidneys. I don't know. It was very strange. So I began supportive care for him. This is my morning routine with Ferguson. Potty time. Weigh. Try as hard as I can to get him to eat real cat food. After ultimately refusing to eat cat food, he gets his chicken baby food. Chim comes. Medicine. Morning injection. Blanket licking. Fluids. Weigh again. Good job. And then we do some exploring. Come on. And that's it. That's Ferguson's morning routine. So one of the hardest things about caring for Fergie is he just doesn't want to eat. And I have to show him all sorts of different options. Do you want this one? This little dude just would not eat. And it was so hard because, you know, obviously kittens need to eat a lot. They need to be growing, and he was just not growing because he wouldn't eat a proper meal. So, oh my gosh, like for weeks and weeks and weeks, all he would eat was chicken baby food. It's not ideal for that to be all that he would eat, but really he just needed to eat something. And so I would spoon feed him his Gerber baby food, and I called it his chimpkins. Chimpkinery, chimpkinery, chimpkinchery. A chimpkin's as yummy can be. Chimpkinery, chimpkinery, chimpkincharoo. It's good on a finger or good on a spoon. Or give me some treats, and that's yummy too. And that's how he earned his name, Chimpy. That's Chimpy. So if you ever hear me call him Chimpy, that's why. So where was I? Yeah, I mean, for weeks and weeks and weeks, I was doing supportive care and waiting to find an answer, and we ended up getting the results of Clarissa's necropsy, and it said pyelonephritis. Now, I had never heard that term before, so if you haven't heard it, it's totally okay. Pyelonephritis basically means a bacterial infection in the kidneys. And so that made a lot of sense. I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, they had blood in their urine when they were first rescued, and they seemed totally antibiotic dependent. And so it makes sense that for her, that was the issue, a kidney infection. And I wondered, could that be the issue for him too? So we did a urinalysis, we did a urine culture, and we did blood work. And all of it came back extremely concerning. His kidney levels were very bad. And this is all really new for me. Like, I am definitely very experienced with diseases of youth in kittens, but kidney disease, that's something that usually happens with seniors. And I just couldn't believe it. Now, there are a lot of things that could go wrong with kidneys. You know, they can have an acute injury, which they can recover from, but they can also have a congenital problem with their kidneys, which, you know, is a little bit more serious. So I made an appointment with a nephrologist, which is a kidney specialist. And while I was waiting for that appointment, We just continued seeing our regular vet, and I was really hopeful that he was going to be able to clear that infection and he would get better and he would get adopted, and I had such high hopes for him. You know, his brother was twice his size by this point and he was nearing adoption age. He was big enough to get neutered while Ferguson was still like half his size. And I was just looking at Ferguson like, okay, you know, what is your future gonna look like here? Can we clear this infection? Can we get over this? And can we get you to a place where you can be adopted? So we went back in for his recheck blood work, and I was really optimistic. I was hoping that it would go really well. And sadly, the blood work came back and showed that he was even worse. Oh, I was so upset, and they said basically, you know, the only chance of trying to reverse this is to hospitalize him for several days and put him on an IV. All right, Ferguson, we're gonna go on a little road trip. I got all your stuff. I even got your fountain, your medicines, your favorite little spoons. We got a whole thing of treats for you. Today I am doing something I was not expecting to do, and that is that I am driving Ferguson to Los Angeles to go see Dr. Rachel.
So basically what your liver's job is to take things that you ingest and turn them into something that your body can flush out of the system. So your liver takes everything that you eat and it assumes that everything that you eat is a toxin. Mm-hmm. It turns it into a form that is safe for the body to use the nutrients and for also to flush the waste products out of it. Because obviously not everything that we consume is meant for us to retain, which is why we poop and why we pee and all those other wonderful things. So the kidney's job is to take those byproducts that the liver has made and flush them out of the body. And those byproducts in the meantime are circulating through the body in the body's plumbing system, which is blood. And so that blood runs itself through the kidneys, and as it's running through the kidneys say, ooh, we need a little extra potassium, we'll grab that and we'll keep that here. Oh, we have a little too much sodium, so we're gonna take that sodium from the blood and we're gonna say, get out of here, and collect it. And they get all the stuff that we don't need in the body and they throw it into a collecting duct, which then goes into the bladder as urine, and then you urinate out. And one of the other things that those kidneys do is they also say, hey, we're a little bit dehydrated, so what we're gonna do is, as this really juicy blood is coming through, we're gonna keep some of this water. So the amount of urine that we're gonna make in this collecting duct is not a lot. But if your kidneys are damaged, then they're not, excuse me, that is not for you, thank you. This is the problem with having very curious kittens. If your body needs more water, then your kidneys will say, hey, we're only gonna push out the waste products, we're gonna keep the rest of that water. But when your kidneys are damaged, the way that his kidneys are damaged, then it means they have less than 25% function left in them. We have to help keep the body hydrated, and what we have to do is we have to push more blood through the kidneys, and we do that with the IV fluids.
When he was on the IV, his kidney levels actually seemed to improve a little bit. We hoped that it would stick, but you know, after being off of it for 24 hours, his kidney levels started to rise again. So I drove him back home, and fortunately the next day was his nephrology appointment, and I really, really wanted good news that we were gonna be able to do something to turn this around. You know, we'd come so far, so far, and I just hoped for good news. Okay, well, we made it to the nephrologist. We're just sitting in the car, waiting for them to come pick him up. Unfortunately, they're not letting people in, so we'll have to wait in the car while he's in there. But I brought an entire folder of his medical history. This boy's got files, the Fergie files. There's tons and tons of records. Wrote up a complete history for him this morning. Oh, I hope it's productive. I hope we learn something that can help him. I hope you do a good job in there. So, I guess you know how this goes. The news that I got was not the news that I wanted. I was told that basically the nephrologist did an ultrasound on his kidneys, and what she saw was really, really bad. The pyelonephritis, that kidney infection, that seemed to be secondary, and the primary concern was a congenital issue with his kidneys. That means an issue that he was born with. Ferguson's kidneys do not look like typical kidneys. They're misshapen, they have a lot of fibrotic tissue, and they are not fully functional, and so they can't do their job. So he has a congenital kidney condition with secondary pyelonephritis, meaning his kidneys can't protect him from infection. He has to be on antibiotics at all times. But the nephrologist had suggested taking him off of one of the antibiotics, and so we did on her recommendation. It had seemed to be going okay until all of a sudden it was not. Ferguson is trembling. I don't know why, but you can see he's just shaking all over. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, but I need to know. Oh no. Oh no, this is not good, Fergie. He has a really bad fever. Oh my God. Yeah, so I cried a lot. Every single time he goes off these antibiotics, he almost dies. So our vets agree now. The antibiotics he's been on his whole life, unfortunately, he will have to be on for his whole life. Oh, you know, with cases like his, whenever I have a kitten with a medical condition, the goal is to get them well enough to be adopted. Like, that is the goal. Adoption is always the goal of fostering, and that's why it drives me crazy when people say, you should keep that cat, you should keep that cat, for every single kitten that I rescue. But in this case, it was even more painful than normal to have people say, you should keep that cat, you should keep that cat, because, you know, if he was able to survive and live a long life, I would love for him to have been able to be adopted. Like, that is genuinely my goal here. That's the goal. So, you know, I am keeping him, but I'm keeping him because his condition is not recoverable, and it sucks. It's really sad. You know, my goal would have been for him to be able to get adopted, but he did get adopted, and I want him to know that he is chosen and he is loved, and I want it to feel like, you know, he gets a forever home, and his forever home is with us, and we don't know how long that will be, but we're grateful for every single bonus moment that we have together.
Good job, Chimpy. You did it. I'm very proud of you. And here's to a life of many more meat tubes and many snuggles.
You know, the way that I see it is you have to pack a lifetime worth of fun into the time that you have. So I want him to have every possible positive experience. You know, we've transformed our living room into this like Fergie fun zone that has like every kind of toy you can imagine. It looks like a toddler room in there, but for little kittens. Beds, soft places to lounge. He's got all sorts of toys in here. It's Fergie's fun house. And he's got his BFF, Haroon, by his side. Haroon is being a very good big brother to him. I really do believe that like knowing that you have something to live for will help prolong your life a little bit. I mean, he is so happy and he looks forward to playing.
He's a wild man. Nice.
I think having, you know, those good emotional feelings does contribute to his overall well-being. I want to take a moment to show you some of the happiest moments from Ferguson's upbringing.
Here, there you go, Ferg. There you go. Ooh, you tell him. You tell him.
Fergie.
Look at your tiny butt.
Smaller than your foot.
What are you doing, Fergie?
Oh, he's just terrifying.
Oh, he's fearsome.
He's fearsome.
That's a fearsome beast right there.
Look who's in the catio. Coco, Eloise, and Chippy. Oh my God, Ferguson. You're the first cat to use that. Oh gosh. Okay, be sweet. Be sweet, girl. I know, you didn't know that you can make it up there. Neither did I. Fergie? Fergie? Oh my gosh! Look at ya.
So I really want him to be able to get along with my cats, but unfortunately, Coco and Eloise really don't like kittens. I don't think they realize that he's staying yet. But Haroon is really good with kittens for the most part, and he's been moderately accepting of him.
Get him! Oh, is that your buddy?
So Ferguson has a very specific care routine. Honestly, this method works so well for him and he's so accustomed to it that it doesn't bother him one bit. He's just happy to have the treat. The beautiful thing about working with animals is they don't live in the past and they don't live in the future. They really live in the present. And in the present moment, he feels really good. And I think he feels really loved. That's a reminder for me to stay present and to appreciate the moment that I have right now. Because that's all any of us have, right? I mean, none of us know how long we're gonna live. None of us know what's gonna happen in the future. We just know what we have right now. And, you know, can this be a lesson to live with the moment that you have right now and to find those opportunities for joy and fun and play and love? For me, he's a very inspiring kitten, and I feel so honored that I get to be his mama. So That's my Fergie. I hope you guys love him as much as I do.
Do I love you? Yes, I do. Do I love you? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Do I love you? Yes, I do. Do I love you? Yes, indeed. Do I love you? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. Do I love you? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, I do. Yes, indeed. Oh, Fergie. Yes, indeed, I do. Good job, Fergie.